Lutherans and Roman Catholics signed the joint declaration on righteousness by faith. And basically, the Lutherans are saying it was just a battle over words, over semantics. We basically agree on the doctrine of righteousness by faith. You see, Protestants in the United States have forgotten history. And when we forget history, we are doomed to repeat the errors of history. On a state level, the United States has drawn very, very close to the Roman Catholic papacy. From the time that Ronald Reagan joined forces with John Paul II to overthrow communism in the Eastern Bloc, to giving a congressional medal to John Paul II, Congressional Medal of Freedom, to establishing diplomatic relations with the papacy, to 3 presidents, a president's wife, and a secretary of state kneeling before the body of John Paul II, to the Pope visiting the White House. All of these things show us that there's a political correctness involved. There's this desire to draw forces together. In other words, there's no longer any desire to be different, to be separate. In fact, many are saying, we are all in this together. Let's just love one another and preach the gospel together. The question is, which gospel? Is it the gospel that the Bible presents, or is it the gospel that is presented by the Roman Catholic Church? If history proves right, and I believe that history does prove right because history repeats itself, unscrupulous and self-serving legislators in the United States of America will repeat the same mistake that Pontius Pilate committed back in the times of Jesus Christ. They will give in order to preserve their position of power, in order to continue being elected by the people, in order to gain popularity. They will deliver people whom they knowingly know are innocent. Let me just read Mark chapter 15 and verse 11, where it speaks about the trial of Jesus. And it says there, "But the chief priests stirred up the crowd so that he should rather release Barabbas to them." In other words, the enemy of Jesus was not the state. Pilate didn't have any gripe with Jesus. Even the multitudes were not really technically the enemies of Jesus. It was the religious leaders. And the religious leaders influenced the people to clamor to the state that they would destroy and kill public enemy number 1. That's exactly the way that it's going to happen in the future in the United States of America. Exactly the same thing that happened during the Middle Ages. Ellen White, once again, in the book The Great Controversy, page 592, has this rather chilling description of this time. She says, those who honor the Bible Sabbath, and we're going to discuss this a little bit later on, those who honor the Bible Sabbath will be denounced as enemies of law and order, as breaking down the moral restraints of society, causing anarchy and corruption, and calling down the judgments of God upon the earth.